All right, what is going on, everybody? I'm going to be making my weekly recap video a little bit early this week because I've taken all three of my setup entries, so I'm done for the week. So this was the first setup that I took. This actually was on Sunday night, and a little bit earlier than the last Sunday night trade that I took. I took this entry at about 8 p.m. after the market opened at 6, and I saw this gap up that happened. Obviously Friday was Good Friday. I hope you guys all had a happy Easter weekend. But going from this Sunday or Thursday close into the Sunday at 6, I saw this gap and left this liquidity void. And anytime I see one of these liquidity voids that occur on a Sunday open that start into the new week, usually they get filled very quickly. And as soon as I saw this, I was anticipating a pretty big move to the downside, and I caught the top pretty perfect here, and instantly, went into profit. I am feeling a lot of emotions during these pullbacks. As I have more screen time and hours trading and in trades that are going through some of these retracements, it's starting to feel a little bit more comfortable, but it is still challenging to sort of manage myself at this time when I'm watching my paper profits start to go away before the price continues in my favor. But I just have to remind myself this is the way the market fluctuates. Price is going to displace, and it's going to rebalance price, and then it's going to you know have that Christmas tree pattern, whether it's bullish or bearish. It's just how the market flows. So immediately I went into profit, and some of these pullbacks were a little bit concerning, especially this one here. It was a pretty big push in volume in this area. Uh, Ended up getting out of the trade a little bit early and missed out on this massive move that went down to fill this liquidity void. So although it was a disappointment in my head about the fact that I had missed out on the trade idea that I was anticipating, I did get about a 4-to-1 profit uh, uh, ratio with my risk to reward because I only risked about $70 in this initial trade this week. So this was my Sunday trade. A success profit wise, but I'm still trying to work on allowing my trade idea to fully play out, and and this all sort of goes back to accepting risk and having holding on to your bias and your conviction and really allowing that to be tested. So that was Monday's trade, uh, which was the open then shot up, took liquidity, a lot of volatility on Monday that happened, and then obviously went back down for lower lows, which is kind of crazy to see. This was this morning's trade. So I watched price while I was at work. I was watching price move up, and then it took this buy side liquidity here at pre market open, had a small retracement. And as soon as I saw this liquidity grab here, I went short, and it's actually within that candle itself. Uh, let's see. Scroll all the way back, and yeah, so I saw it break down with displacement, started to consolidate in a new range, and so I interpreted that as price about to make a lower high and entered short, and it was stopped out when it went a second time for a second push for buy side liquidity. Once I sort of started to see the same thing a second time, I cut my risk in half. This was a $134 loss. And then I went in with a $70 stop right here and immediately went into profit. The pullbacks were not as hard to hold through as the ones Sunday night with that initial trade. But because I did take that initial entry and it was a loss, I am counting that as one of my three setups. So this last trade was my last setup for the week, and it was a beautiful trade. I mean, it went into profit, had some healthy consolidation before continuing lower, and I finally closed my position right here, almost 100 points. And this total trade was about $850. This is my biggest trade yet. It was a 12 to 1 risk reward. And what shocked me even more, um, which, I was a little bit disappointed to see it, but price then moved lower a bit less than an hour later, just like with the trade on Monday. It was less than an hour later that that price continued in my favor. It dropped another 200 points. I mean, this is once again another setup that would have flipped my entire account. And I'm not mad at it. You know what I mean? I had an amazing trade. Best trade yet on the account. My account balance actually is positive, so I am $573 in the green at this point. Um, I mean, I couldn't be happier with that. So I'm really just trying to manage my expectations, keep my risk as low as I can, keep trying to maximize on these entries and identify for the highest probability setups. And that's going to be my focus going into next week. Trying to be patient, trying to be as responsible as I can with this account, and hopefully I'll be able to continue to identify some of these really beautiful pre-market setups that are being offered right now. Um, the Nasdaq has been pushing down pretty hard these past couple of days. Looks like it might retest this 200 period moving average. Maybe not. It might break down lower. Who knows? I mean, it's been a lot of selling pressure lately. It is NFP week, so I can't really discount anything during these weeks. The market is sort of just on a different program on NFP week, but I've found occasionally when my normal bias that I hold is sometimes just out of sync with the market during most weeks. Sometimes during NFP week, I'm just hitting it on the nail. So it is nice to see. I used to be really afraid to trade during NFP week, and now I just take it as it comes. If it's a setup, I'm taking it. I'm not worried about what the non-farm payroll is saying or what it's not saying. I'm really just following the uh, the draw on liquidity, the market structure. I take into account press releases, news reports, things like that. But all of that is usually secondary to whatever established trend I see. And, that just goes into accepting risk, right? I accept that this is NFP week, and the rule that anything could happen, I would say, applies a little bit more heavily, maybe, during NFP week. But that's going to do it for this week. Not going to trade again till at least next Sunday when the market reopens. And yeah, I'm just happy that I was able to turn out. This is a 1K week that I just did with real money, real account, my own money. Not really messing with prop firms anymore. So uh, just on hopefully on the right path at this point, and I'll be able to continue to optimize my strategy. All right, that's going to do it. And I wish you all happy weekend, and I'll see you guys next week.